Hey guys, how you doing? It's Danny with Invest in Digital Assets. Just want to talk a little bit about crypto. Bitcoin is at $120,000. It's a big milestone. A lot of people were very skeptical in the last bull run when it was at $65,000, and then we went into a bear market. A lot of people saw Bitcoin at $16,000, and they thought, well, that's it. That's the end of it. But now we're at $120,000. That's about, 6.5, almost 7x from its lows in 2022, I believe it was, 2023. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me on that. But the question is, with Bitcoin being at $120,000, ETH being at over $4,000, BNB smashing $1,000, Solana is sitting at over $230. The question is it too late to invest in crypto right now? Well, a lot of people ask me that, and my question to get back to them is, are you thinking long-term or short-term? Although I'm just here with my dog. I'm going to do my crypto videos now. Every time I take my dog, I thought, give me something to do. But yeah, I asked them, are you thinking long-term investing or short-term? Well, if you're thinking long-term, the idea is that every month or every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 months, every 6 months, every year, you just keep investing long-term. The idea that on a short-term, what you're going to see in crypto is the market is going to go like this. Bam, bam. So, Warren Buffett said, he doesn't like selling anything. And why is that? Well, because in the short term, it plays a lot with your emotions. That's one of the biggest issues. And, well, how can you not get too much attached? Well, if you just keep buying and you think long term, you know that you're going to be working for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Why not have investment on the side that keeps growing as you keep working year by year, that something grows on the side, right? Now, the question is, well, what should I invest? Should I get into Bitcoin at 120,000? Should I jump in at all-time high? Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you're thinking long-term, then regardless of what the price is, if it's 120, if it's 160, if it's 100, if it's $80,000, the idea is you want to buy a little bit every time, and you want to keep compounding it, right? So if it goes down from 120 to 80, the price of Bitcoin, well, you have a chance to buy Bitcoin for $40,000 less, right? So you do that, and then let's say it goes up back to 100K. Well, now you're in profit of 20K. And let's say you bought a bit more and went up to 160. Well, now it's sitting at all-time high. For example, we haven't hit 160, but I believe in my prediction that we will hit 160. So, and people will be getting at 160. The question is, will we go bear market from there, or will we keep going up as because we don't know, right? The sky is the limit for Bitcoin. Now, a few things that you can consider were what's going to happening around the world. Well, there's multiple conflicts. The Fed cut the interest rates, so we know that normally when that happens, people are going to borrow money because interest rates are very low, and everyone wants to make money, so they're going to pump it somewhere. Stocks are overvalued. As many of you know, crypto is really the next big thing. You have BlackRock, you have all these trillion-dollar companies that are getting into Bitcoin. The Russians say that Trump is flying, and Trump is very pro-Bitcoin, very pro-crypto, which is amazing to see for the world. The Russians say that the U.S. is in $37 trillion debt. They're never going to pay that. Let's be honest. They're never going to pay that. Well, how can you pay it off, though? Well, what if you print 37 trillion and you pump all of that into Bitcoin? Well, what's going to happen? Well, suddenly, the U.S. has the biggest reserves of Bitcoin. Isn't that true? 37 trillion? That's a lot of money. And, well, their debt will be wiped off. Naturally, a massive inflation will follow, but if you're the king of Bitcoin and you hold the majority of it, you have quite a lot of power. Because we all know that in the next decade or two, those who have Bitcoin will have some kind of perks, some kind of benefits, regardless where you are around the world. More and more countries are accepting it. As we see, El Salvador has been a very big push in a global field. A lot of countries are kind of slowly following it in their footsteps. A lot of people are kind of looking for more and more crypto-friendly countries, especially with taxes, because a lot of people are making money, and then at the end of the day, depending where you are, the tax might be very high. And if you're up in Canada or the US, you might be up to 50% capital gains. So that's why a lot of people are moving to countries like Dubai, where you can live tax-free essentially. And I know they're changing stuff over there as well. But again, over time, as the years go by, we're seeing more and more adoption into crypto. We're seeing more services accepting Bitcoin and digital crypto as a payment, which again is a big, big plus for us, right? But again, going back to, is it worth investing in crypto when Bitcoin is $120,000 at an all-time high? Long term, absolutely. Long term. Think about it. You're about to have a kid. He's going to be a year old. Eventually, that kid is going to be teenager, right? 16, 17, 18, 19. Eventually, he's going to be old enough, or she will be old enough to leave the house. Imagine if you were investing in Bitcoin for 20 years. Every month, you were putting a little bit of money. Just think how much the compounding effect over the 20 years. Well, naturally, you're going to be a multimillionaire, right? But then, what about the index funds? What about stocks? What about the S&P 500, right? Well, let's look at the S&P 500. Well, if you're investing in the S&P 500, you're basically investing in the United States of America, in their economy. Now, what if their economy doesn't go well? Does the stock going to do well? Not really. And then, how am I going to get out of the S&P 500? A 5% per year? How's that going to help anybody? Everything is so expensive nowadays. 5% is not going to do too much unless you have, in the millions of dollars, and 5% is definitely, it's more than enough to live off, depending on who you are. But for the average person in crypto, 5% you see on a daily. Why would you go back to stocks, for example? And let's just differentiate between stocks and crypto. Stocks have been around since the industrial age. Well, what does that mean? Well, the industrial age came around the late 1800s, early 1900s, up to the 1930. That was the Great Industrial Age, until the Great Depression, right? The stocks were booming. Again, think about it. Just the times that, the Great Depression came in the late 20s, right? And was all the way up to 1930 until the U.S. economy has bounced back again. So people investing in industrial era stuff, if you've been in the stock market, you've had all these like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon. You have all these great companies that people had for, over a decade, couple decades almost to invest in. So you don't want to come in at all-time high. I'm not saying they're not going to go a lot higher. For sure they will over time. But you have this new technology, just like internet came in the 2000 and a lot of people didn't really know about it. Well, now we live in 2025. We have this thing called blockchain crypto. Well, let's put crypto aside for a second. It's really the blockchain technology that's really important over here. Those crypto coins are essentially representing these companies, tech companies. So do you want to invest in the past, or do you want to invest in the future? Think about it. When Bitcoin was at $65,000 and we went to bear market, a lot of people said, that's it, Bitcoin is not going to last. It's going to go down to zero. Well, I'm making this video today at Bitcoin $120,000. Meaning, if you bought at $16,000 when it was an all-time low, after the bull run, when we went from 65K down to 16, had you bought at 16K and you still held everything, it'd be 6.5, almost 7x your money. That's a lot of money. I don't think I'll get that in the S&P 500. Definitely not in the next couple of years. Maybe in a decade. Maybe in 2. Maybe in 3. Let's be honest, we don't have that much time. 20, 30 years, I'll be 60. I'll be too old. But in crypto, as more and more stuff are coming out year by year, month by month. By being in the market, you're actually you keep yourself up to date. Just like the people read news around the world and want to know kind of what's happening around the world. Same thing with crypto adoption and innovation. The more stuff is coming out, if you're aware of all that stuff, that means you're ahead of the game, because I don't know if people know it a lot, but right now in crypto there is only about around 700 million people around the world, which is out of population of 8 billion people, that's less than 10%. So less than 10% of the population is only in crypto right now. Think about how many people have digital devices nowadays. Billions. We have more digital devices than we have humans nowadays. So if everyone has a digital device, it's just a matter of time until they get into digital money or a digital crypto, whatever you want to call it, digital assets, right? But yeah, that's the idea. So long-term crypto, it's always the key. And really, it's not just crypto, any investment. If you listen to Warren Buffett principles of investments, he wants to buy something and he wants to hold it forever. There's no selling, because he made that mistake when he was a little kid and he bought a stock and then he sold it because in the short term it looked like it went down. But then as he sold it, a year or a couple years later, the stock went a lot higher. And that was his lesson, that it has to be so good that you never want to sell it. That's the idea. And Bitcoin is that one, right? There's only 21 million of Bitcoin. Let's be honest, a lot of it is already lost. So much Bitcoin is lost from the initial OGs. A lot of wallets are gone. But probably millions of Bitcoin is gone. We don't even have 21 million. It's a lot less than that. That's just the original number. But the reality is, even Bitcoin at $120,000, how high can it go? Is it going to go up to $1 million this bull run? Well, I don't think so. Not this one. Unless the US decides to default on its debt and print an additional $37 trillion to cover their massive debt and then pump all of that money into Bitcoin, then yeah, Bitcoin will be well over $1 million, if not 10 million per coin. But yeah, over the years, if not this bull run, I predict that the next bull run in the year 2028, 2029, 2030, Bitcoin will surpass 1 million around those years. But in this bull run, my expectations are at least $160,000. I think that's very reasonable. We're just 40K away. For ETH, I'm not really sure. A lot can happen. I'm more into Bitcoin, so I would say for Bitcoin it will be 160. But again, guys, make sure if you invest, you gotta know the basics. Learn how to research. Learn how to transfer your assets, because there's so many scammers nowadays that everyone wants to take advantage of you. You have a little bit of money, well, someone wants to take advantage of you, especially when it's crypto, right? Because it is so easy to transfer such amounts of money. Again, guys, you can transfer millions of dollars without anybody's knowing, and it will only take seconds from me to you. So think about it. Scammers, it's like the perfect opportunity for them to make money out of people like you who don't know what they're doing. The first thing you can do is educate yourself. Learn the basics. Learn how to move your money. Learn how it works. Or learn which wallets to use. Just get the basics so people wouldn't be able to take advantage of you, because when you don't know much, you're going to start listening and believing everybody. And not that it's wrong, but some people don't really know what they're talking about, so you don't really want to listen to everybody. You want to listen to some and use your own intelligence and find the truth. And that's on crypto we say, always do your research. It's very important. We said it for a reason, because it doesn't matter if it's a project. There's a lot of scams out there, right? Even projects that want to make money. You can create a coin just for the sake of making money. They're not really looking to make a company. So how can you differentiate between a shitcoin and a proper company? Well, it comes down to research. There's no guarantees in crypto. You always have to do your research, right? But yeah, I'm just, it's been 15 minutes now. Been with my dog outside. Yeah, that was my first video. I thought I'll start talking about crypto. Been helping a lot of people online for free, so I thought I'll make some videos, teach the newcomers. I mean, if you think about it, like I said, there's over 7 billion people that are not into crypto yet, that they want to learn, they want to get into the space, but maybe they have some fears, right? Because you heard other people losing a lot of money, and you don't want to be one of those people. So educate yourself, learn the basic fundamentals so they don't take advantage of you. And think about it. If you just buy Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or Solana, or any other coin, and you just buy a little bit of it, you put it into your wallet, you forget about it, and you just keep doing that every month over the course of years, you will be a millionaire a lot sooner than you'll be in the S&P 500 or in any American stock market. Anyway, that was Danny with Invest in Digital Assets. Thank you so much for watching. It's getting hot over here. And there's my puppy right there. Mika!